Hi guys, and welcome to Long Shot Larry's Sports Astrology. Today we're going to be looking at the US Open tennis final between Djokovic and Medvedev. See if Djokovic can make history and be the first person to win a Grand Slam since 1988. So jumping straight in and looking at the projected start for the game, I've put 10 past 4 p.m. New York time. It may be a little bit later. It does need to be around this for this analysis to be accurate. So what we can see here is that Uranus is lurking around the IC, and that's going to be pretty important for this analysis. The other thing you can see here is that the moon is up in Sagittarius, is sextile Saturn, and Saturn rules the ascendant here, which is the favourite, which is Djokovic. Medvedev is the descendant, which is Cancer. So the moon is in Sag, so we use Jupiter as the ruler for that. There's not a great deal going on here. If we look at the Frawley method, the moon sextile Saturn is the last aspect the moon will make in a 5-degree arc, which would favour Djokovic. Mars is in a wide sesquiquadrate aspect to Uranus. We'll just have a quick look at the aspects. You can see that Mars is sesquiquadrate, Uranus applying 57 minutes. If Uranus is on the IC, that aspect could come into play, but it's quite some way away. Okay, so let's have a look at Djokovic. So we've got the chart for the event in the inner ring. In the middle ring is the natal chart for Djokovic. And we have got a time chart here for Djokovic, which is very helpful. And we've got his progressions on the outside. So how does he relate to this Uranus potentially on the IC? It is opposing his midheaven, which could be a problematic area. The other thing to notice is Saturn at 7 Aquarius 31 is forming a T-square between his Pluto, which rules his MC, and also his Venus down here, and Saturn is very close to the midpoint. Now that might seem like a big problem. However, when he won the Australian Open in 2021, Saturn was in the same degree and he beat Medvedev in that instance 3-0, so it didn't seem to hamper him then. What else have we got? We've got a progressed new moon happening over here, and that is trying his progressed ascendant, which is very nice. You've also got his progressed MC conjoining his progressed Saturn, and that is a symbol of achievement, so that looks quite good as well. The only problem I can see with that is Saturn is opposing his Mercury, which rules his Gemini sun, may be an issue. And the other thing we've got happening for Djokovic is his progress Venus is very close to his Mercury, which rules his sun, which once again is a nice aspect. So a bit of a mixed bag for Novak in this game. So let's have a look at Medvedev. We don't have a timed chart for Daniil Medvedev, so this is just a solar chart. So what's he got happening? Well, the Uranus on the IC, he's an Aquarian, so he has some resonance to that. And his Uranus is in Aquarius and quite strong there, so he'll probably relate quite well to Uranus. He's also got Jupiter here in a very interesting position. It's right in the midpoint of his Sun-Mars conjunction in Aquarius. Now, Jupiter equals Sun-Mars is quite beneficial for success if you're into midpoints, so that might be something worth watching. What else has he got going on? The other thing I can see here is potentially his moon's on the MC at the start, we don't know. Venus is in 2 Scorpio. He's opposing his progress Venus. It is separating 11 minutes, but it seems to be an important pattern for him. The reason is his natal Venus here at 2 Aries is sextile his Uranus, which rules his Aquarian sun, and trine Pluto. And if we look at transiting Venus here, progress Venus, they're all forming a T-square with a trine to his Uranus. If you put that into context with this Jupiter in a good position, it could be his day. You've also got progress Mars down here at 17 Pisces, is semi-square his Uranus, which is a bit of a volatile combination. And if you remember from the start, we had transiting Mars is sesquiquadrate transiting Uranus, so there's some relation there. it is a little bit volatile. Now, something I'm going to look at differently today is, because Djokovic is such a huge star in Serbia, I'm going to look at the charts for Serbia and Russia for Medvedev to see if there's any further insights we can get from those. So this first chart from Serbia is from Nicholas Campion's book of World Horoscopes, page 328. I couldn't really see much going on in this chart. I had a look and there is a newer chart. This chart here for the 5th of June 2006, when Serbia severed ties with Montenegro and became an independent nation. This is the one I'm going to look at. The Russian chart is for when Russia announced independence. I think this was the moment Yeltsin got on a tank and it's relocated to Moscow. So let's have a look at those two. Okay, so we've got the Serbian chart on the middle ring and we've got the Russian chart on the outer ring. So straight away from Serbia you can see that Sun is 14 Gemini, is exactly square Uranus. Well, we don't know how close because this is a solar chart, but it's somewhere in the vicinity. It could be an issue for Serbians rejoicing for Djokovic making the Grand Slam. The thing I would look at Russia is Uranus is trine the Uranus, Moon and Neptune, and also trine Jupiter over here. Now Jupiter rules the Sagittarian Sun, so that probably looks a preferable pattern. I'm not sure what the following for Medvedev in Russia is. If there is a big following, this would indicate that the public, which is the Moon, could be quite excited about this event. The other thing with Russia is the Moon is exactly on Mars here. Once again, we don't know an exact start time, I'm projecting here. But Mars rules the MC, and Mars in a country chart has to do with sporting performance, so that's interesting. So let's have a look at some stats. Alright, head to head, Djokovic has a 5-3 advantage over Medvedev. If you look at the games they have played, you can see that Djokovic has won once, twice in a Grand Slam. He's beaten him this year in the Australian Open, and he beat him in 2019, the round of 16 in the Australian Open as well. One thing I forgot to mention, there's an article here, Smiljana Gavrancic, sorry for the pronunciation. He's got an article about Serbia and how 15 degrees of Leo seems to be an important area. He's gone back through time and looked at charts with events happening at that area. I will just go back. And so Uranus is a square to that 15 degrees of Leo area here, so I'm not sure how important that is, but we shall wait and see. So it's pretty hard to go against Djokovic. He's 27-0 so far in Grand Slams this year. But going back over what we've got this Uranus on the IC. If that does start very closer to the IC, that could be positive for Medvedev. The Moon sextile Saturn should be good for Djokovic. 1 degree is usually the first set. This Uranus and Saturn could be a problem for Djokovic. Is it enough to lose? I don't know. Medvedev has that Jupiter in a good position. He's got Venus in a good position. Uranus relates to Aquarius, so he looks like he's getting a bit of help today from the stars. If we look at Serbia and also Russia charts, I'd have to say the Russian chart probably looks better. So thanks for watching. We'll see how it plays out and see you in the next video.